Thank you.
Fumiya Kokubu, CEO of Marubeni Corporation, and we have been conducting various business in this country in many years, especially in energy sector. We are participating in a Sakhalin One project, which you pointed out through the Japanese consortium. Mr. Ishikawa, you want me to state my opinion on Russian LNG from the buyer's point of view. But I must tell you that we sometimes are on the other side, in other words, on the supply side. And so, though, of course, we have the buyer's role as well, but my view may not be always representing a buyer's point of view. Let me start by saying that when we take a look at the LNG market or the LNG project, if it's viable, if it's feasible, we should have the long-term perspective rather than just kind of mid-term, short-term outlook. Of course, I know that recently a lot of the negative sentiment is surrounding LNG suppliers, while the buyers seems to be very relaxed about the procurement of the LNG, at least in this coming couple of years. Especially in this region in the Far East. This is, of course, mainly because the substantial the volume of LNG supply will be available out of Australia and the US. And I think that this possible glut oversupply may continue until the year maybe 2020. However, even I think in such a difficult market situation or the environment, LNG project in Far East Russia will have a clear advantage, mainly because of the geographical superiority and abundant gas reserves and stability of supply, which has been proven through the existing project. With regards to the geographical advantage, I don't have to say much because this is quite obvious looking at the Far East East Asian market. And secondly, with regards to the reserves, there are abundant reserves of natural gas in the East Siberia and Sakhalin Island, which is enough for the long-term LNG production. In addition, Russia has established itself as a stable energy supplier on a long-term basis. As a clear example, the Sakhalin One project, which we participate through the Japanese consortium with Rosneft and ONGC and ExxonMobil, has been supplying crude oil in a stable manner since the beginning of the project back in 10 years ago, 2005. And lastly, I just want to touch a little bit about the deregulation of the Japanese electricity market. As you might be aware, the Japanese power market, including the retail market, is going to be deregulated and liberalized very soon. And currently, under the rate of return regulation, utility companies can pass their comprehensive costs to buyers. But after the regulation, the price of electricity or the power will be totally in accordance with the market demand and supply. Therefore, after this move, I think the LNG procurement on a competitive price basis is getting more important and will be a priority for the buyers. And I guess my question is that if Russian LNG is able to introduce new competitive pricing formula applied only to the East Asian market, that will add substantial value to Russian LNG, I believe. I think that the LNG will play a more and more important role in Japan, and I'm sure LNG will keep its status as a critical and flexible source of supply, together with the nuke and the coal burning as a baseload power. Keeping those circumstances in mind, I'd like to place high expectations on Russia as a reliable and flexible gas supplier to Japan, where we are facing unprecedented changes in energy supply chains. While thanking to the Russians' geographical proximity, abundant reserves and track record as a stable and reliable energy supplier, With the continued support from the Russian government and a strong leadership of Rosneft, we are very much looking forward to contributing to realize the new project, Far East LNG project under the current the framework. Thank you very much.